and the objective is to simplify the powers of I. This is one entire objective on the test. Pretty straightforward. I've left all this up here, so if you want, you can just pause the video and look at it, or you can listen to me talk through it. Your choice. The way you're going to simplify powers of I. First off, recall that I is just equal to the square root of -1. So therefore, I squared can be simplified to -1 because the square root of -1 times the square root of -1 is -1. I cubed, well, that's equal to -1 times the square root of -1, which in turn is just which is just -I. Because remember that this is I squared times I, which is I cubed. This is all the same. So finally we get down here to I to the 4th, and I can rewrite that as I squared times I squared, which is -1 times -1, which is 1. So we have I1, I1, and negatives in the middle. So when you do your pattern, it's I1, and negatives in the middle. This is I to the 1st, I squared, I cubed, I to the 4th. So we're going to divide 4 into any exponent. If it goes in evenly, our answer is just 1. The remainder, if I have a remainder of 1, 2, or 3, it's I, -1, or -I. Let's go back and take a look. So 97 divided by 4 has a remainder of 1. I don't care how many times 4 goes into it. I care about the remainder. Since the remainder is 1, I have I, because remember it's I1, and negatives in the middle. So this is if there's a remainder of 1, a remainder of 2, a remainder of 3, and this is 4 goes in even. Okay? 4 goes in evenly, it's just 1. 25 divided by 4, goodness, that's a terrible one. Let's see here. Let's see if we can fix that. 25 divided by 4 has a remainder of 1, which means that the answer here should be I. Okay? 25 divided by 4, 6 goes into 20. 4 goes into 25 6 times with the remainder of 1. This is 148. 4 goes into it evenly. Hang on, my phone's about to, sorry about that. Just wanted to stop the ringing. Goes in evenly. Since 4 goes in evenly, it's 1. 7 divided by 4 has a remainder of 3. 3, my answer is -I. 9,823. Okay, notice you can just do this with your calculator. Come on. 9,823 divided by 4. 0.75, that's 3/4. Remainder is 3. My answer is -I. 64 divided by 4 goes in evenly. Remainder of 0, so it's 1. 71 divided by 4 has a remainder of 3, so my answer is -I. Over here, when we get to these crazy questions, they're a little bit harder, but they're not terrible, okay? Not terrible. You have to do them one at a time, though. 4 will go into 17 with a remainder of 1, so that's I. 4 goes into 4 evenly, so it goes in evenly, so that's 1. Sorry. 33 divided by 4, there's a remainder of 1, so that's I. I now have I plus 1 plus I is 1 plus 2I. Always write it in A plus BI form. Okay, you notice I was adding those. Down here, I'm multiplying. So first, I'm going to simplify each one because the smaller numbers are easier. I to the 17th remainder is 1, so that's I to the 4th, the remainder is 0, so that's 1. I to the 33 has a remainder of 1, so that's I. I have I times 1 is I times I is I squared is equal to -1. Now you might be asking, could you also do it this way? I to the 17 plus 4 plus 33. Sure, you could simply add 17 plus 4 plus 33, and you would get I to the 54. You can then do 54 divided by 4, and that's 13.5, which means I have a remainder of 2. So this is the same thing as I squared, which is -1. You could get the answer either way. All right, this last one over here, 18. Okay, first off, the 18 is just 18. We haven't changed that number. 18 is 18 is 18. So we leave the 18 there. I to the 5th, we're just going to leave that for right now. I have 3 to the 4th. This distributes here. So 3 to the 4th is 81. I squared to the 4th, we multiply our powers and we get 8. Now, 18 times 81. 18 times 81 is the 1,458. I to the 5th, I to the 8. I add my exponents, so I have I to the 13. 4 goes into 13 with a remainder of 1. So I have 1,458i. That's it. That's all you have to do for reducing powers of I. Your test will look pretty much like this for this objective. You'll have some straightforward reductions, and then you'll have 3 or 4 where you're adding or multiplying, or you have extra numbers added in. If you have questions, be sure to ask.